For great ideas and practical tools you can start using tomorrow to grow your business and separate you from the competition, you've come to the right place. If you're into B2B marketing and sales, then welcome to the one and only B2B Marketing and Sales Podcast. With over 60 and counting total years in the trenches of businesses small and large, they have a plethora of knowledge and experience that generate you more leads, capture more clients, ring up more sales. Well, doggone it, just make you more money. How about that? Always thought-provoking, yet dubiously entertaining. Please welcome to their respective microphones across 3 time zones, your co-ringmasters, the Dave Loomis, and not the rock star, Steve Miller.
And we're here. My name is Steve Miller. I'm better known as Kelly's dad, a marketing gunslinger. I get to say that I am the author of this book right here, which... UNCOPYABLE, How to Create an Unfair Advantage Over Your Competition. And this other guy here with me, who are you?
Dave Loomis. I'm
Are you the Dave Loomis?
I am actually.
All right.
And I'm Hannah and Emily's father. How about marketing gunslinger? I'll have to think of another term, but I happen to be the author of this book, which is getting a lot of reflection because it's so bright. It's just you're just sending off a real blow here. Marketing is everything we do, so you've come to the right place for sure.
Yeah, we were both, and I got to tell you, I love Dave's book. So make sure you get his book and my book, and then and we'll be able to buy a cup of coffee.
And Steve's is great too. I tried to copy it, but it's actually uncopyable. So
we're both, and we both love orange. So we just recently did. Yeah, I recently interviewed Dave for a client of mine, and we did a webinar together, and we had such fun. We had so much fun talking about marketing and branding and different stuff like voice of the customer, which is a big part of your book. And after it was over, we just said, why should we stop here? Let's just keep this thing going. So we decided we're kicking this off as the first episode of our now famous podcast that we have come up with the very, very clever title of the B2B Marketing and Sales Podcast.
Yeah, people won't really understand it, but because it's so confusing a name.
Yeah.
Really isn't. Actually, we're not fancy. Actually, some of the best marketing is pretty darn straightforward. We could have gnashed our teeth for months over a clever name. But what did we decide?
You know what? And that reminds me, I'm glad you said that.
Something very specific. We just chose something very, very specific and descriptive.
Because we want to give people good ideas. We're going to be riffing about marketing. We're going to be riffing about branding. One of the things that I am very big on, Dave, you can agree or disagree with me on this. I am really big on measurement. That marketing should not be unmeasurable.
Yeah, it's hard to disagree with that.
Yeah, but to just back up very quickly when we talked about how obvious the title is, right? And that sometimes saying the simplest thing is really the smartest thing to do. And I don't know if you're familiar with this, but this is a book called Obvious Atoms. As you can see, it's just a little pamphlet book. Obvious Atoms, the story of a successful businessman. This is a tremendous sales and marketing book that I would recommend to everybody. Very small. And the premise of it was that this guy was in advertising and he wrote ads that just said it like it is. And was very, very successful at that. And so I love the fact that you and I agree on that we want, number one, we want to help people. We want to help them make money, help them make more money, help make their businesses more successful. Gee whiz, which means you can hire people, you can be, you can pay your taxes,
That always
do all that stuff. So, all right. So my question for you today, and this is going to be a very free form type of format. Sometimes we might have guests. Sometimes we might be alone. Who knows? Who knows? Right. Sometimes my smoking hot wife will join us to talk a little bit about sales. We'll bring other people in as well, of course. But I want to ask you, what is your philosophy, Dave, about marketing?
Great question, Steve. My philosophy of marketing is pretty simple and straightforward, just like the title of our podcast. And it has to do with the fact that anything that we sell, a product or service, if it has value to someone else, then they're going to be willing to trade for it. They're going to give, barter, which is in the old days before money. And now that we have money and cryptocurrency even, they'll trade for that according to the value that they see in it. Now, what makes something valuable to someone? It helps them get their job done. You just said, I hope this podcast will help you make more money so you can, hire people and pay taxes. That's value. Now, if somebody sees value that it's going to help them with their job, then they're willing to trade for your product or service. So what is marketing then? To me, marketing is understanding what is of value to the customer and then developing the product or service to fulfill that, not just once, but on an ongoing basis, and keeping the pulse of that customer need and their pain points and making sure that we continue to add value. And the subtitle of my book, Marketing is Everything We Do, is how serving others brings success in business and in life. And so to me, good marketing is serving others, is serving your customer. All of us in a business, unified, whatever our job title is, with our focus outward toward that customer in service to them. That's it. That's my philosophy.
Yeah, that's a beautiful philosophy. I really, really like it. And when we talked in the other interview that we did, before, we actually got into more of a conversation about the servant leadership.
Servant leadership, servant innovation. Yeah, exactly.
Servant innovation. And we had talked about that. For me, marketing and innovation, they go hand in hand for companies nowadays. And in fact, I'm a kind of a student of Peter Drucker, who was the kind of the godfather of management theory. And he said that there are two and only two functions of business. One is marketing and one is innovation. And the way that, and everything else is there to support those two functions. And the way that I interpret that is that marketing is the communication side. It's how we reach out to people, share our message, share our promise to them, what we're going to deliver to them. And innovation is what makes us different from the competition. Uniquely, relevantly, and valuably different.
Differentiated, right. Yep, that's a great point.
So I think that we are both kind of we're pretty well in line. I'm sure that we'll have conversations where we're not completely in line, and that's okay, because I always say there are many roads to the top of the mountain, and I have my road that works pretty well for me and my clients, and I know you have yours for you and your clients too, Dave. And it'll be interesting to hear that, as well as if we do have guests on, and we allow them to actually tell what they want to tell us.
We will do that. We will do that. I think there's an interesting part of the title of our podcast has the word B2B in it. And I think that's key, because I think there's a lot of people out there who, are sponges for new information about how to do things better in the B2B world. And both you and I have been basically in it for our entire careers, and loving it.
Yeah, I've had very. I have worked with CPG companies. I have worked with retailers. Most of those times, though, those are kind of like the people who they want new, fresh ideas, and they know that they're not going to get it by staying within their own world. So which will be part of our conversations is about, like, where do you get ideas? How do you differentiate yourself from the competition? Why do you call it marketing is everything?
Well,
is everything we do. Marketing is everything we do.
Yeah, really, because I feel like if we are all unified in whatever our organization is, it doesn't matter what our job title is. We could be in accounts payable or on the production line, but we're still really marketers. I was in a great conversation with somebody yesterday at a client, and they were explaining to me how they recommended that the people on the actual production line understand the customer segmentation. And they got a lot of pushback from the company, their client. And they said, they don't have to know that. All they have to do is know how to do whatever their job is on the assembly line. And the person took, a task with that and just said, no, actually, if your heart's in it and you really understand what you're trying to accomplish for the customer, that can be important in any role. And that's why we're doing it. We're not really doing production to support our company. We're not doing accounts payable to do that. We're doing it, because we have these customers. And then I do feel like marketing is everything we do as a person too, as an individual, for our careers, in our life, with our friends and our family also. Like everything we wear and say and do, and even the friends that we hang out with, every word that comes out of our mouth, it is marketing. People say, don't judge a book by its cover, and that's a nice thing. But on the other hand,
it does have an impact.
On the other hand, we do tend to make some snap judgments, as do consumers or B2B buyers or what have you. So first impressions count. Let's just not pretend they don't. And, the one thing that's really cool about personal branding is that we can go to bed at night, we can wake up, and literally tomorrow we can make any change we want in our personal brand. And there you go. There you have it.
Because we own it. Yeah, because we own it. And I always say everything walks the talk. Everything walks the talk. Every touch point with the customer or client, depending upon what you call them, everything impacts their perception of you. I always say that there are three things that can happen, because people will normally have some type of perception of you. Even if it's just because maybe they read an article about you or they saw an ad or something like that, that automatically gives them some type of perception up here. And then from then on, every contact, every engagement, every time they see your name, every time they hear something, watch something, it does one of three things. It either reinforces what they already think about you, it enhances what they already think about you, or it diminishes what they already think about you. And so that's why I say everything walks the talk. And even to the point where you might have people say, like you're talking about earlier, people who are working in the production line, and maybe they're not front facing, maybe they don't talk directly to, but the bottom line is that what they are doing touches the custoper.
Yeah.
Everything touches the customer.
Yes, it does. It does. And there might be even like a little instruction manual or a little a note to the customer in whatever they're producing. And they actually may box that up on the production line themselves, and that goes to the customer. and you don't think that much about it, but you also can recognize what amazing customer experiences are being produced by companies that do think about curating every single touch point and packaging. And, now it stands out when people are really doing things right. There's a real old book called Moments of Truth by Jan Carlson.
It's over on my shelf.
It's right back here.
It's over on my shelf.
And
and that's where really where that whole, when I read Moments of Truth, I thought that's where I say everything walks the talk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When Carlson was CEO at Scandinavian Airlines, I think,
right.
And he said that every time you touch the customer, it's making an impact, positive or negative, with them. So so we even have this. We probably have the same library.
Probably do.
Of books.
You probably weren't in the funeral business like I was for a couple of years.
No, you know what? And that might be a future thing, is to talk about some of the things that we did in the past that kind of gave us our.
I think that would be good, because everybody. I think it's fascinating to study what people the meandering of people's careers, and everybody is completely unique, and it's just what you take away from those different experiences.
Yep. Now I know that we also want to try to keep this around to 20 minutes. I mean, it's not firm fast or anything like that, but just around 20 minutes, because we sort of feel like that's kind of a drive time, or a walk around the block or something like that, that it doesn't take a lot of time. And so I think we should wrap this one up, this very first episode up, which has been sensational. I just can't believe how much information you guys are already getting from us.
It's hard to believe. It's hard to believe. We're already getting all these great satisfactions.
I expect cards and letters, emails, texts. I expect.
Thank you. All I could say is thank you.
This should be viral within 24 hours after it gets out. So, but you and I talked a little bit about what we might chat about next time, and in the second episode, what did you decide we were going to talk about?
We did have an interesting idea, which I think people will really love, which is there a difference between B2B and B2C marketing? I mean,
I'm not giving my idea away. We have to come back. This is the cliffhanger.
Yeah, think about it. We're not going to answer that right now.
Yeah. This is they're gonna be going like, oh my gosh, where's that next episode? So
exactly.
So that's what we're going to talk. We're going to talk about, because this is the B2B Marketing and Sales Podcast. But we want to, and people do often ask that question. They also say, what really is the difference between B2C and B2B? So we're going to talk about that in our own opinions, because we've both got strong opinions about that. So be sure to stick around to listen to the next episode. And I am Steve Miller, better known as Kelly's dad and marketing gunslinger, and that is
Dave Loomis, the Dave Loomis.
The Dave Loomis. I like that. Yeah. The Dave Loomis. So
I'm from Ohio, where we have the Ohio State University. So
I know. I heard they tried to copyright that too. So, or trademark it. They did try to trademark it. So, this was fun, Dave. Great talking to you, and I will see you on the next show.
Okay. See you then. See you, everybody.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the one and only B2B Marketing and Sales Podcast, the source for B2B marketing and sales insight. If you enjoyed the podcast, please be sure to subscribe and leave these old guys a 5-star rating. Check the show notes for any links and contact information. You can always contact us by going to b2bmarketingsalespodcast.com. Thank you, and keep on marketing, keep on selling.